Hi, this is Julie. I'm so glad you made it to my channel. If you see anything you like, please like and subscribe. As quilters, we most commonly go left to right and from the top to the bottom when we're quilting. But occasionally, we have a real need to be able to go up and down on that quilt over and over again. And I'm going to tell you when I like to do that. And I'm going to tell you how to make that easy. This is a photo of my customer Guyleen's beautiful quilt. She used Tilda fabric and made this pretty lantern quilt. I'm already in progress on this quilt, so it's in the position I need it to be in. But prior to this, I had it loaded in the clear view mode. So first of all, you just want to load the quilt how you normally do. It doesn't matter if you use clear view or standard. What I do is after I've got the back on my quilt top, I put the bottom of the quilt top on that leader that has nothing on it right now. Now, if you're in standard mode, it'll be a little bit different. But first of all, the point is you just load the quilt as you normally would. This is what my quilt looked like when I first loaded it on my long arm. For edge to edge and some custom quilting, this is the way I like to load my quilts. Sometimes though, I really need to move around the quilt when I'm quilting, and I like to move and advance and then move it back to where I was and advance some more and move it back to where I was. And here are a couple of reasons I need to do that. The first one has to do with thread. When my bobbin thread is different than my top thread. Now here I was going to be changing out colors of thread on the top, and I wanted only one color on the bottom. In order to take multiple peeks at my backing throughout my quilting and make sure the tension is always right and the top color isn't coming through to the back, I need to be able to move that quilt and advance it so I can take a peek at the back, then get back to where I originally was. Another reason I like to move the quilt around a lot is when I have variations of sizes of things on the quilt. So you'll see these lanterns are not the same length. There were, I think, 3 different sizes of lanterns. And when I'm doing a lot of filler and I am filling, you can imagine, like, let's say as I'm coming down between these two, I'll come so far and then I might need to advance the quilt so I can keep moving with my quilting. So those are a couple of really important reasons why I like to be able to move all over the quilt. Now, the normal way I load a quilt can cause a little bit of problem with that. And if you've tried to do this, you know it has to do with the batting. If I leave my quilt in clear view, I can advance fine, but it's moving the quilt back and going back up towards the top and doing the opposite of advancing that's the problem. And that's because my batting gets stuck. So just imagine you've got your batting in here. If the top of the quilt was on that leader and I've got the batting in there, you know, it can get caught into that part on the frontmost pole. And it's a back and forth mess. So to make moving around the quilt a breeze, this is what I do. First, I do my 1/4 inch basting at the top of the quilt. Well, of course, that's already done if you've already loaded in whatever mode you're going to do it in. Then I do 1/4 inch baste on the left side. Then I take my long arm over to the right and I do a 1/4 inch baste on the right side. Okay, everybody does this all the time, right? But here's what I do differently now. I put my baste to a 1 inch and I baste horizontally. Then I advance the quilt. So I do a horizontal baste for every advance. Now you can see where my 1 inch is right there because there's a little bit of puckering in that quilt. 1 inch basting is so easy to take out every time you come to it when you're quilting. But with each advance, I do a 1/4 inch on the left, 1/4 inch on the right, 1 inch across horizontally. Okay, then I advance, and you can see right there where I'm pointing, there is another one, another horizontal baste that I have put in my quilt. Now the thing you have to really be careful of is each and every time you advance is get that batting straight, get the batting smooth and nice. Your goal is to baste everything in place to get all of your quilt on 1 leader in the front and be able to get all of your quilt on 1 leader in the back. So in this way, if I'm quilting, see, I can move that quilt up and down. The batting is all basted in place. The backing's all basted to the front. And then I'm quilting and I need to look at the back and see if my tension is okay. I just move it like this, go around to the back of my machine, take a look, then move everything back so I can go back to my quilting at the top of my quilt. Back and forth. I don't have to pull on my batting. I don't have to worry about anything like that. Now, before I come to my basting, my 1 inch basting, I take it out. It's very easy to just pull up the thread, just 4 or 5 places down the quilt and just pull it all out. Real easy, real quick. And then everything smooths out. You can see where it's a little lumpy right there, just barely, but it smooths right out. Now see, I can look at the back of my quilt and make sure that my tension looks good. And then look, there's a little bit of my blue thread coming through. So I got to see, okay, is that just one of those places where some thread got caught? Or do I need to tighten my top tension and keep that bobbin from pulling the thread through? Now I only had a couple little places and it was where I had started and stopped, so I can fix that real easily. But overall, the back was looking good. When you first do this basting method, you will probably get nervous about this bulkiness that you see in the fabric. Like you'll make your 1 inch basting and then as you advance, everything's smooth except right there. But this is very important. That's normal. That is okay to have a little bit of gap there. You don't want wrinkles on your batting and you want the rest of the quilt to be pretty flat, but that will all smooth out. So don't worry about when it gets under that pole that you see a little bit of bulkiness. Baste your quilts and enjoy moving around them. Thank you for watching. Bye.